Hello friends, this is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. Thank you for clicking on this tutorial and joining me as we make some coasters together. These are nice and thick and they're sturdy and you're going to love them. We use a double strand of Bernat Handicrafter cotton yarn, and I will tell you a little bit about where I got this yarn from and the color names as soon as we get started on the project. But for now, I'll just tell you that you're going to need a 5mm crochet hook. You're going to need just 2 of those small little 50-gram balls. And we're going to get started on these. I'm going to call them Mom's Vintage Coasters because they're inspired by my mom because of where I got this yarn from. So Mom's Vintage Coasters. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. It's perfect for beginners. And even if you're a seasoned crocheter like I am, you're going to love it. I just came up with this pattern on my own, but the yarn was my mom's. But one thing I will say, because I'm going to show you all these little coasters individually, here's the reverse colorway. Like I use these 2 colors. I used 1 stripe there, and I used 2 stripes on this one. I started the stripe on the 2nd row here and did 2 and 4. And that's not right. We're gonna do this one together, and I would suggest that you stick with the 3 and the 5, just because then when they're together, this row lines up. And I like that. I just think it's more pleasing to the eye. So this one was an oversight on my part, but I'm not taking it apart. So because these are for me and I'm gonna enjoy them just as they are. But go ahead, grab your yarn in whatever colorways you want and grab your 5mm crochet hook. Don't forget to grab yourself something nice to drink. And we're going to get started on this project. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Almost forgot to say that. I really appreciate it when you hit that like button and when you subscribe, because then YouTube knows that my videos are being watched and that it will circulate it to a wider audience. So friends, please do that for me. I would really appreciate it, and share it in any group that you're in, and tag me if you can. Shelley Weeb, tag me, and if I'm in that group, I'll be able to see it and comment on it. So thanks again, friends. Let's get started. Once you have your 2 colors of yarn chosen and your 5mm crochet hook, we're going to begin. I've already made 3, and I'm going to show you how to make the one with the double row. Okay, because once you learn to do that one, you can do easily the one with the single row. I found this cotton yarn. It must have come from my mom's old stash. And I love the colors. I only have 1 ball of each, and so it's just the perfect amount to make a set of 4. This particular one is, okay, it's Bernat Handicrafter cotton, but it's from Zellers. And it was $1.79. And the colorway is color 14. It doesn't need, oh, it has a French rose. French rose is this color. And that's this one. And for this one, I don't think it had a old rose. Okay, it does. Color 13, old rose. So French rose and old rose. And I can see why my mother would have gravitated to these colors, because it was one of her favorite colorways. Like she loved the peaches and the maroons and like that warm tone colors. And so I found this and I'm having fun with it. You're going to need to take your ball and you're going to need to split it into 2. Okay, so do that with each of them. Get yourself double strand, because we are going to crochet with a double strand of yarn. So I have already done that. I'm going to just pop that one down there. And now I've taken both of my colors and I've separated them into 2 balls, so that there's a ball down on the floor there, so that I can grab 2 strands easily. We're going to do a slip knot. We're going to place that on our 5mm hook. I'm not going to tighten it too tight. We're just going to snug it up there, but we're going to leave it a little bit loose. Then we're going to yarn over and go through that loop. That's 1 chain. Yarn over. Go through that loop, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep it loose, friends. Not so loose that you have big, loops in there, but we want to make our foundation row a little bit looser, so that the edging of our work is nice and neat, and it's not pulling and stretching to try to make it into the shape you want it. We're just going to make it nice and loose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now this is going to be the row count that we're going to use for every row. But in order to turn and make a nice straight edge, we're going to do 1 more. So 13, just like that. And we're going to go into the second stitch from the hook. So here's the one right here. Here's the second chain right there. Generally, you might be used to going into the top like that, but we're going to give this a little bit of a turn. And we're going to go into that bar that's right on the back of it. It goes horizontal. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to, so you can see it here maybe a little bit better if I move my thumb. You're going to go under that bar. Might be tricky until we get going down the row. Yarn over, pull a loop through, then move your hook in such a way that all those bars are even. Yarn over and go through all 3. And we have just completed a half double crochet. Might be a little tricky to get it through that first one, but there you go. Just completed a half double crochet. Let me throw that ball down in there so I have a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the next one. So there's our chain. We're going to give it a little bit of a twist. We're going to find that horizontal line that goes there. Yarn over, go into that back. It's called the third loop. Bring it up, yarn over, and go through all 3. See, the second one's much easier already. Yarn over, go into that next one. Yarn over. Oops. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Make sure they're all the same height. Yarn over, and go through all 3. What that does, let me just show you here. I'm going to just take this out. What that does is it lets us see the entire stitch there on the bottom of our work. So maybe if I grab one here, and it creates a beautiful edging. Otherwise we would just have one little strand that's like that. So going into the back loop for a project such as this makes a much, much nicer edging, and it matches the top edging. So that's why we do it. We're going to continue on down the row, going into that back loop. So here's my next chain. I'm going to give it a little bit of a turn. I see that horizontal line there. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go into it, yarn over, pull up a loop, make sure that they're all even height, yarn over, and go through all 3. Yarn over, go into that next back loop, yarn over, and we're just doing this for this first foundation row. So if you're already saying, oh, I can't do this project, yes, you can. Once you get once you get these 12 stitches done, it'll be sailing. So trust me, stick with me, and we're going to get it done. Okay, so continue on. Go into that next chain. It's right there. Give it a little turn. You'll see that horizontal stitch right in the back there. Go into both layers, pull up, yarn over, go through. Moving on to the next one, into those 2 horizontal bars there, yarn over, go through. And the next one, and you'll find as you go down the row, it's getting easier and easier and easier. Let's take a look. Isn't that pretty? It's turning out beautifully. So I'm going to stick with you. We're going to do the next one. And the next one. And the next one. Pull up just so you can see that. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to take this little knot. I'm going to just pull it with my thumb to tighten it. And you can just take this and you can see that you've made a beautiful first row. We are going to now chain 1. We're going to do this every time we turn our work. Then we're going to turn it like it's a page of a book. We're going to half double crochet in each of these little loops. Much, much easier. So we've done our chain 1. If you go to the left of it and you pull on this, you'll see that little loop in that little hole in there, that little loop. You're going to yarn over, go right into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, go through all 3. Let's do that one more time. So this is 3. Now you're going to grab a stitch marker. If you're new, you're going to want to do this. Trust me, friends. If you're not new, you won't need to probably do this. But if you are new, sometimes we miss this stitch when we're coming back because it gets tight. So count back. 1, 2, 3. put a stitch marker in there. So then when we're coming back the other way, you'll always know where the end of your row is and you're not going to have a crooked side, okay? So yarn over, go into that next stitch. We know that we're working 12 stitches, so that's 4, 5. Stick with me to the end of the row. We're going to do a color change. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sometimes this is the one that you miss if there's no stitch marker in there, and you can see how then it will start curving up sideways there. You don't want that, so you're gonna make sure you get into that bottom one. You're gonna yarn over, pull it through. You have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to have some tails to sew in, which is totally fine. Where's my scissors? Because it won't be too many and it will be easy. We're gonna just cut that off just enough, long enough so that you have enough to put on your needle and to sew in later. With those remaining 3 loops on your hook, just like that, we're going to hold this piece down with our finger, those 2 tails down. We're going to grab these next 2 tails from the next color and we're going to add that to where our finger is holding them, just like that. And then I'm going to switch fingers and hold it with my 3rd finger of this hand. I'm going to yarn over and complete that stitch. And I've set myself up for my new color. Okay, you may want to back that up and look at it again. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. We are going to hide these tails at the end. We're going to then yarn over, go into this very first stitch there that's a little bit tight to see, but if you pull on this, you'll see that there's a little hole there. You're going to go into there, yarn over, complete your half double crochet, go into the next one, complete your half double crochet, go into the next one, complete your half double crochet. I always do 3 before I put a stitch marker in because then it's much easier to see it. I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3. See how hard that one would have been to see? I'm going to just get under there, put a stitch marker so that when I come back, I know where the end of my row is and I'm not going to compromise the angle of the side of my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go all the way down to the end and I'll meet you back. I have completed 11 half double crochets, and you see where this one would have been hard to find for some of you. If you're new, putting your stitch marker in there is very helpful. Then all you have to do is pull up on it and you can see where you're going to get under. You're going to yarn over, you're going to go into that space. This is why I love bobby pins. That's how easy it is to remove it. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I've made them all equal in height. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to cut off my yarn tail. I'm going to grab my other color. We're going to do another color change. So I hold that with my 2nd finger on my right hand, grab the other one. I set up my yarn on my left hand, ready to work. Then I switch out my 3rd finger to hold those 2 tails, making sure that I'm not compromising the length of this one. They're all even. Yarn over, and I finish that stitch. Chain 1, turn my work. I'm going to now follow the same exact thing. I'm going to half double crochet into that 1st stitch, into the 2nd, and into the 3rd. I'm going to count back. 1, 2, 3, place my stitch marker, and continue on down the line till I get to 11, and then I'll see you back. I finished 11. I've got to get into this 12th one so I can pull it up so I can see where that space is. Then I can yarn over, go into that space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and I'm not going to finish it with this color. I'm going to remove that stitch marker, cut off my yarn tail. I am going to add my next color, my original color, my 2nd color, sorry. yarn over and finish that stitch, chain 1, and turn my work. We are going to do, how many rows did I do before I changed? One row. We are going to continue on as we normally do, except for this is what I do, friends. Let me just put a stitch marker in this and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do before we continue on. Count back 3. Pull up on this loop here. Take out my hook. If you follow my channel, you know I hate working around tails. So I don't wait till the very end to hide them. I'm going to make those all even because it's also easier to hide when all the strands are even. I'm going to stop right at this point and I'm going to hide these tails. And how I do that is I'm going to put this first one on, then I go into that little loop and I'm going to go into the base of that first row. This work is tight because it's double strand. You don't have to go back and forth. See how tight that is to pull through? But then once you do get it through, I want you to take this corner and make it the way it needs to be, okay? Then you're gonna cut this off. Move on to the next one. Let me choose a different color, okay? I'm gonna take this one. I'm going to trail this down. See where this row is here? I don't want to go through here because then I'll see it as I pass from underneath this one to go underneath that one. So I'm going to trail this down to the bottom here. And that helps to make a very nice edge too. And then I'm going to just go underneath these loops on the bottom. Pull that through. Pull that through. And cut it off. Then you can take your needle and you can just make sure that that end is hidden. I'm going to go to the next one. I'll do one more with you. Sometimes it's hard to get in here. I don't have the strength. If you've seen my videos of late, I've had a brace on my hand and actually I've taken it off for this project. I see the doctor tomorrow and hopefully it'll be off for good, but I don't have the strength I need yet, so I'm struggling a little bit. That's why when you see me struggling, even when I'm crocheting, I don't have complete strength yet in my hand. But I'm going to trail this down. But it's getting better, and I thank you for all your well wishes. And then, see how that made that nice stitch there to finish that edge? Then I'm going to go underneath this row. Pull it through. Cut that off. Make sure those little tails are in the inside there. I'm going to do it to the other side, and then we're going to move on with our project. Doesn't that just look so much better? And then it gives me more joy as I'm working on the rest of the project too. So we're going to finish this row. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, I split that one. Don't want to do that. Let's get you out of the way. Almost there. $11. I'm gonna pull up on this little stitch marker to see where my little space is, then I can take it out. Draw up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to cut this one off. I'm gonna grab my next color. Got a bit of a tangled mess going on here. I've got it. Okay, we're going to do our color change. Bring that through, chain 1 so that we can turn our work. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. We're not going to do any more color changes, so you see how fast this project is going to go. We're going to do 3 rows of half double crochet, 3 more. That will take us to 8 rows in total. Again, I'm going to do 3. I'm going to straighten that out so I can find that first stitch, and I'm going to pop that in there. And we're going to continue on down the road, down the row, or down the road, whichever you like, until we get to the end. We're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work. We're going to work row 7. Then we're going to chain 1, turn our work, work row 8. And when we get to the end of row 8, friends, I'll see you back. Coming up on the end of row 8, I'm going to take out that stitch marker because I can see where it is. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go into that stitch. I'm going to complete, oops, look at, I lost one of my loops here at the end, giving me a little bit of trouble. No worries. I noticed it and I'm so glad. Just like that. We're going to finish off that last stitch. Then we're going to yarn over, pull it through that loop, cut off our tail, pull it all the way through, and we're going to push that down. Then we're going to take our piece and we're going to just give it a nice light shaping. Stretch it a little bit. And there you go. And you see how that edging there is just as beautiful as the edging there? It's wonderful. So now you're going to say, oh, I'm so glad I hid half of those tails because now I only have 3 to do. So go ahead, hide those tails and meet me back. If you're going to add a fringe, what you're going to do is you're going to cut a piece of cardboard. It doesn't matter how long it is. It's probably about, I don't know, 3 inches maybe. Is that my guess? Yeah, 3 inches. And it's 2 inches in height. And it's the height that we want to worry about. Okay, so we're going to take our yarn. So it's 2 inches from here to here. We're going to take our yarn and we're going to wrap it. We're going to have a 2-inch fringe on this. We can trim it up later, but you're going to just wrap it just like this. Okay, I'm going to stop there just for time's sake. You're going to, now it's 4 inches because from there all the way around to here makes it 4 inches, but we're going to take 1 cut. Doesn't matter where, you just want to do 1 cut. Just like that. Take these beautiful things off. This couple of these will be too short, but that's okay. You're going to do that with your second color. See, it doesn't take long. Wrap it around. Cut that tail. Cut the yarn. Just 1 cut anywhere on that cardboard. That now gives you a 4-inch piece, but when we put it in half to make the fringe, it becomes 2 inches again. I'm going to take, let's take this darker one to start with on the lighter coaster. Fold it in half just like that. You're going to find, take a look at your color change row here. You see where this is the stitch that goes up like this? This is where I want to have my front. This is the back where you see these little V's. You're turning your row so there's front and back rows on both sides. So quite frankly, it is reversible. But because we have a detail in there, we want the detail to be front side up. So this is the back of this detailed row. This would be the front. You can see how beautiful that stitch is. That's important when you put your fringe on because you're going to go from the back up to the front. Hook your fringe, yarn over, bring it through that loop on your hook, and pull. The reason why you want to do it that way is because then this bar over the fringe is at the front, not on the back. You'll see it's different at the back. Okay, then you're going to take your next color, put that in half. Use a small crochet hook or you're going to be fighting with this because these strips are short, but not hard to do. I'm going to go into that next place right there. You're just going to evenly space them out. Pop it in there, yarn over, go through the loop just like that. I might want to go a little bit closer. I'm going to just play with it. But we're going to go ahead and keep alternating, adding a fringe up this side and this side, okay? So then I'm going to go into this next one. Oops, put my hook in there first, then loop it over. Pull that loop through. You've got your loop on your hook. Yarn over those two tails and pull them through that loop. Just like that. Then pull that little edge tight. Okay? I think I'm going to go a little bit closer. But that's how you do it. So you're going to evenly space them all the way up. You can choose to do one color or you can choose to do two colors. I'm looking at this now and I'm actually going to do one color. I'm going to do just the peach on this predominantly peach one. I'm going to take these ones off. Sometimes you don't know until you do it, but you know what? You might have it, you might visualize it alternating. I just did that and I actually don't like it as much. I'm going to just stick with the base color. I'm going to go up the side of the row here with just the peach. And I'm going to use this darker color on the darker coaster. So I'm going to just do one more with you. You can double these two if you like. But maybe I'm going to go down a little bit lower to this very bottom stitch here. Get in there. Come on, you got it. Oh my, mercy. Pull that through. Yarn over. Pull it through the loop. Then just push this up so it's on the edge, not going down, okay? So it's on the side. I'm going to add another one in there. So I'm going to do one at the base of the row, then one at the top, then maybe one in the middle here, base, top. However it works for you, you space them out so they're nice and even, and do it on both sides. So I'm going to do this side and this side. I'm going to pop this in here, picking up two strands with my hook, two strands along the side there, bringing this through, getting those ones out of the way, pulling that through. Hopefully my hand's not in the way as I'm showing you this in the camera, but I think you get the idea. And we're going to do a fringe all the way up the side. And once that fringe is on, this looks a little bit ridiculous, but once it's all the way up and on both sides, then we're going to fray it a little bit and cut it even, and it's going to be beautiful. This is what it's going to look like when you have your fringe put on. And you can leave it like that, but it looks kind of, doesn't look great, does it? We want it to look like this. We want a nice, soft fringe. This one is beautiful. I love it. Nice, soft fringe. And then look at this one here. Like, how can something so simple be so pretty? They are. They're beautiful. But to get to that spot, what we're going to do is we're going to take a needle, one that has a pointy end, but not as sharp as what you could use. Like one that's a little bit duller, has a wide point, so to speak. And then you're going to take each one of these little strands, and you're just going to go through the center and separate the strands. I just have to pass through each one twice. It doesn't take long. Put it on a flat surface like this if you can. And you're going to separate every strand. Once I get to the end of this row, I will show you what you do next. The length of these are varying a little bit, even though we cut them the same length. That's how you put them on. But we will trim them up once we get it brushed out. You can find a fine-tooth comb, or you might have one of those comb things from macrame. I'm looking into macrame. I did macrame as a kid, and I've always wanted to get back into it. And I might add that to my channel eventually. You just put in the comments if you think I should. I'm not sure. I'm not promising you. I'm like 10% thinking about it, picking it up again, because I think I could do it. And that would be like the knacks part of my channel. My channel's Koala Knits and Knacks. That would be a knack part to add it, I think. I'm concentrating as I'm talking to you, so I'm... Oh, mercy. So here we go. Anyways, that was a little bunny trail that I've been thinking about, but I'm not sure that I'm going to go that route, so I'm not making any promises. But now that we got this worked through with your needle, we're gonna take either your macrame brush if you have it, because it's like a bristle. Go to the pet store and buy one of those cat combs or dog brushes, and that works. But I have this little metal brush that does the job. It's got little spiky, you can see it. It's just a very short bristle, spiky brush that I don't use for anything else other than crafting. And we're gonna just brush it out. Turn it over. Brush it out. And then when you have that brushed out, all you're going to do is cut off these ends. Just go very, you know, don't use too much precision. Just go across and cut off those little tails to make it straight. But it doesn't matter if it's still jagged a little bit. It looks more natural, okay? Look at the difference. Isn't that beautiful? Like, what a difference. So now you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna do it to this other side and to all of your other coasters and get those all done. And when you have the whole project completed, I'll see you back. There we go, all done. I think they're very, very, very pretty. Like, seriously, I love them. Can't wait till I'm keeping this set, because these colors are ones that I really like too. But you go ahead and get yourself whatever colors you like, and you make yourself a set of coasters, and then make a set for a friend and just give it as a nice gift, because they're so fast to make. All right, friends, there you go. Once again, I say thank you so much for joining me. I sure appreciate spending this time with you, and I hope you've had fun. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you, my friends.